You also say later in the book that right now we are experiencing the widespread apostasy of bishops and cardinals. Tell us more of what you're seeing.
It is simply, we could state these facts. It was evident in the decades since the council, the majority of the episcopal nominations done by the Holy See and by their nuncios promoted were priests who were not zealous in defend and promote the integrity of the Catholic faith, but so-called compromise candidates, and compromise candidates are neither cold, neither hot. They are so in the middle, and such people, they will yield always to the attacks of this world and compromise the Catholic faith and liturgy and so on. And this was done we could observe this, and even this, and then in those dioceses we could see in the last 50, 60 years, it was with such compromised candidates, even though they were not explicit heretics or immoral people, but they were always compromising and yielding, or people with ambiguity. And this is not a standard of an apostolic man, like the apostles, the church fathers, and the great bishops of the history. Such people, this is the characteristic of a candidate for episcopacy, and the more for a cardinal. But unfortunately, such candidates the Holy See promoted very much. We have to state this, we cannot silence this. And this is the responsibility by the Holy See ultimately. And in the time of Pope Gregory Gregory the Great, in the end of the 6th century, he was very demanding in appointing bishops, and so he did very careful research, and he waited sometimes a long time before he appointed bishops, or he simply did not appoint because he did not found a good candidate. So he was very careful, and some bishops rebuked him, the Pope Gregory the Great, why he is so demanding, have such exigencies. And he stated this, stressed this is so important to find good candidates. And then he answered these bishops, please go and seek, and you will find them. But the good candidates are sometimes hidden, so you have to seek them, or to wait simply. A diocese can also be vacant for a considerable time, and the church, the faithful will continue to believe, and they have the sacraments, they have the priests, as we lived in the Soviet time without a bishop. For decades we had, and even very few priests, rarely, but the Catholic faith was transmitted, taught, lived in the Catholic families. And so better to leave a diocese some years without a bishop rather than to appoint a compromise, a weak candidate who will be ambiguous and allow the spread of modernism, liberalism in his diocese.